welcome.
Tweets censored.
No, we might make some mistakes.
When he took over X, he made a bunch of statements saying he's going to change everything. Global leader of the World Economic Forum. It was planned like a movie. We've been lied to our whole lives about everything.
You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Nationalism versus globalism. The victors write the history books. There's two sides of every story. Maybe we should have a discussion about it. Who are these globalists? Who are the ones in charge? Who's running the media, the news outlets, Illuminati, Hollywood, these demons? Predictive programming. History books lie. Revealed as truth later. Idiocracy literally is like a documentary.
It's in front of our faces, breaking out of the matrix.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another great edition of The Danger Zone. And so tonight we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun with it tonight. I'm tired of all these, everybody taking things so serious right now. I know there's war literally on the brink of war right now. So we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna talk about celebrity body doubles, which is, people say is a conspiracy, but there have been known instances where Michael Jackson himself has used a body double for privacy as a decoy, so he can sneak out the back door and escape the press. So there are other instances where people say they've been replaced completely as a clone, or which is a possibility. We've been cloning things since like the beginning of the 2000s. I remember watching something on TV saying that the first goat was cloned, and if we did that on goats, I'm pretty damn sure we're doing it on human beings now. So we're gonna deep dive into a bunch of that stuff. We're gonna have fun, talking about it. They're gonna show a video of one that really opened me up to body doubles and decoys, basically, and it was a Michael Jackson incident. It was like the day after when he dangled his kid over the balcony, which was stupid, but terrible parenting. But dude was always in the limelight, and that's another thing. These celebrities are always in the limelight, so they always, it's understandable if they want to get a double and use them for a little bit and then go have a little vacation and not have people stalking them all the time. Being famous is kind of hard. I've never been famous before, but I could expect that it's a very difficult thing to do. We're going to talk about different instances of certain people. There's claims. I know one of the biggest claims is that Paul McCartney was killed and replaced from the Beatles. There's also another one, I think back in 2003, of Avril Lavigne. And the reason why they say this is because there was some kind of mole changes and that her height changed. But I'm like, you can wear shoes for that. The moles, you can have your moles removed, or you can have moles put on. There's certain people that they do makeup and put moles on because they like having moles and even freckles and stuff like that. So there are instances we're going to talk about both sides. We're not going to be biased and be like, everything's a conspiracy, man. But we're definitely going to deep dive into these things a little bit deeper. So the first one I want to talk about particularly is Paul McCartney. I remember even an interview on SNL. They brought it up on an episode of SNL with Chris Farley. I don't remember if you've seen this. I don't know if you've seen this, but he had Paul McCartney on. And it's this little interview, and people say you're dead, and it's so awkward because like SNL is supposed to be like live, and they're improvising. And it's like when these conspiracies come out, people go, oh, look, they're talking about it. They're bringing it to the light. And, like predictive programming, you sent me something. I know this is a little off topic, but you sent me the thing about the Call of Duty Black Ops. And like it almost correlates with what's going now. And it was set in 2025. And I don't believe in coincidences. Like there's certain things people know ahead of time and they just use it in the limelight. And so I actually slightly believe the theory that Paul McCartney was replaced from the Beatles, only because I did a lot of deep diving into the Beatles, and I love the Beatles, don't get me wrong, I love their music, I listen to it, but I did do a deep dive that they may have tiptoed, which a lot of rock stars did back in the day, in like satanic shit. So there are things such as sacrifices, and if they're a big group, they need to replace people, stuff like that. So I particularly believe it, but there's no evidence. Obviously, if there is evidence, they'd throw me in the fire. They'd throw me in front of a car. I'd be run over. They'd be like, "Oh, Steven just died of a stroke." But do you have any? I don't know if you know much about the Beatles or Paul McCartney. Do you have any take on if you think he's dead or if he's replaced?
I never personally heard that one until actually you told me like a little while ago. So, but especially for how big they are or were, or however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible because they want to keep that status. They want to keep the money coming. So I can see that happening. So yeah, who knows?
What's one that you have? Do you think like there's a body double you believe, or it's a possibility, or What's one that sticks out that there's a big possibility?
The one that stuck out to me the most was, I guess, the ones from, at least from the evidence I've seen. It's entirely possible. I mean, I can't 100% prove it, but I've seen the one with the side by side comparison of Eminem, because somebody took one from, I think it was like 2002, 2003 ish, and they had a comparison of him from like a few years ago, and they compared like the facial features, like his ears look kind of different, like the nose didn't line up correctly, and just some other things here and there. But that's kind of the one that's always kind of stuck out to me more than all the other ones.
Yeah, and Eminem doesn't strike me as a person that would get facial reconstruction surgery or any kind of like Botox. So, and I honestly really believe in that one too, because there's something drastically. People say, I guess, it's the addiction. Like he was addicted, now he doesn't. Now he's not on drugs, so he's completely different. So they're like, there's that, and the personality changes. The most thing that most people notice is a personality change, and they go, okay, this isn't the person before. But people do change and they do have different personalities. But the Eminem one is very distinct, I think, in my opinion, with the personality change and the looks, because I used to rock Eminem, I used to listen to it, and something drastically changed for me. Not, I guess, just with his. It wasn't like politically, it wasn't anything like that. It just wasn't something I would listen to anymore because it didn't feel authentic. If that makes sense, it felt fake after a while. When something becomes so fake, you start just realizing their whole persona is fake. It's almost like that Jim Carrey says, like, who's Jim Carrey? Like, it's a made up person. Technically, all of our egos are a separate person. Like the Steven that I think I am, it's technically a made up persona. Your soul is your soul, When you put on this face or this mask, and it seems like Eminem has done that in the last few years. So I agree with you. There's definitely a very high possibility that he's been replaced or cloned. And one for me that I'm really debating about right now, because and I will talk about this in the future as well, because I'm working on getting a guest on here for the first time. We're just gonna be me and him sitting down. It'll be a separate show from here. It's gonna be political, so I don't want to get you involved. I know you're not very political. But this is Kanye West, and he has very controversial takes and stuff like that. And he did make a comment I think about a few years ago, or it could be months. I don't know the time frame, but he said, "Hey, if I ever disappear and come back, it may not be me." And what's funny is that he was going on his rant about the Jews, and then he disappeared and came back married to a Jewish woman, and he removed all his teeth, and now he has this grill, and he's just and he started doing a bunch of satanic stuff, and then he's all this stuff going on. So like there is a high possibility that he's a clone, he's a replacement. And then but I don't technically believe it. That one, it has a lot to do with a lot of things working there. I think it's a lot of other things behind the scene. I don't think but it's high of a possibility. He even mentioned it. The man mentioned it himself, so there is that to go on. But I think more often is that I don't want to believe it. That's what most of these like body double things, I just don't want to believe it. Like Michael Jackson was known to have one. I think his name is Navi, and so I wanted to show a video of that if I could real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. Presentation. Yeah, here we go. Go full screen. All right. So that's it. That's basically the little 5 seconds. But somebody comes out, he pushes him out of the way. He had his face covered. And that's me. People go, oh, that was just, there was somebody that said it was like the director and he was playing a joke. But he's literally wearing the same outfit. If you go back, the man coming out is literally wearing like a red right there. So definitely was a double. And he's probably pushing him out of the way because he's going, I want to be with my fans right now. So makes sense. They used it for instances where they want privacy or they want a decoy. So they go, hey, go out there. I want to go take a shit. I got to go take a shit. Go out on the balcony, wave a little bit. And that's why a lot of the times people say Michael Jackson had himself covered, not only for the skin thing because he had an issue, but because it also was to conceal that it was a double actually out there, not him. And there's another one I can believe is the Miley Cyrus. A lot of people said that after Hannah Montana, she like completely changed and that it wasn't that child anymore. And people also say Britney Spears. And I mean, look what happened to her. I mostly more believe that it's like MK Ultra, that they messed with their mind or they brainwashed them so much to make them just grounded them into the floor to where they're not that person anymore. I think that's more possible and more likely is that they were manipulated, brainwashed over time, and they became a new person. So which can be the same thing as being a body replacement or double, like sort of, because you're not you anymore. You're a shell of yourself kind of thing. So and then there's another one I never really got behind, and I did listen to like some of the songs, I guess, because they were hits back in the day. But Avril Lavigne or Levine, I don't know if it's Lavigne or Levine, or I think it's Lavigne.
Yeah.
There's the claim that she died back in 2003 and was replaced by some lady named Melissa Vandella. Yeah. So I don't know much about that, but it's a high possibility. I think that there's a lot of satanic stuff that goes on in not only music but Hollywood and just in politics in general. And we'll go into politics also using body doubles as well. We discussed off screen because we went to go see whenever the movie The Dictator came out. That was a hilarious, funny ass movie, by the way. I love that movie. And he had used a double in that movie as because he's the prime minister of what's the place called again? I don't even remember, but he's the prime minister.
It's called starts with a W.
Wasn't it like Aladdin? Because I forgot what it was.
Well, his name was Aladdin, but the country that he was the leader of was called. It started with a W. I can't think of it right now though.
Oh, I thought it was W2, but yeah. So they used a body double for him, and they were using them technically to go, hey, we can use this guy now, and we can get rid of him and kill him.
That was Wadia. That's what it was.
Yeah. There we go. Wadia. But yeah, so the politicians themselves as well do this, and I don't know if there's any instances of like factual evidence of this, but I would believe that it would be a good case to do, especially if you're in the security and you're like, hey, let's use a decoy and move you out the back door. Let's do this. Let's do that. Or, because there's a lot of instances people have seen Biden and they're like, one day when he was president, he would look coherent, and the next day he would look like not even himself. It would look like, I know a lot of them, they get doctored up, they put makeup on. But even people have seen like little creases about masks and everything. That's another thing. They do have the technology. I've literally seen it where this person wore a mask into the White House and was like another person, and they took it off and they're like, see, this is what we wanted to show you is this mask. And they were seeing how these masks were so realistic, and that people, not only as clones and body doubles, but you can literally put on a mask of Robin Williams, and Robin Williams is alive again, walking around. That's that real. So we also need to tiptoe into that and think about that. Maybe they're using some kind of CIA mask technology and shit. Now you can just CGI everything and AI everything. No one knows what's real anymore, and that's what's really gone crazy with the world, because they're like, okay, well, like the stuff with the brink of war, like right now with the different countries. They're like, oh, is this shit just all talk? Is it just for show? Are we in a movie still? The Truman Show. We did a whole episode about this the other day, last week. The Truman Show. Like, is it all staged? And at this point, yes, it is. I'm like, it's all staged, it's all planned, and it's not even our plan; it's God's plan, because it's all coming to faction. If you read Revelations, I mean, everything about Israel, like literally said that all the countries would rise again against Israel and all this stuff. It's like, bro, it's literally there in writing. So
yeah, and the rivers are going to turn like blood red, which that's already happened too.
Oh yeah, it's like, so that's what strikes me. We're gonna talk about God a little bit, guys. Sorry, that's what strikes me. I was like, atheists or like Gnostic people, they're like, how can you not like put it together and realize that there is God, like, and things are going on, and you're gonna experience some crazy stuff, and it's gonna happen within our lifetime. I believe so. Before I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to see it. I was like, now, after everything I've been reading and seeing, I go, I might actually be alive to see this shit, which is crazy to think, and that's why sometimes I think, like, I was supposed, when people go, oh man, I wish I was born in the 70s. I wish I was born in the 80s. I wish I was born in the 90s. It's like, oh, you were born where you were meant to be born and when you were supposed to be here. And that's why I was like, it's crazy time, but I was like, I'm supposed to be in these times. So I know a little rant there. I had to drop a little God and Jesus on everybody. Got to do it at least one time in the episode. Got to keep them in your heart and in your life. So also I want to talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z and these rappers. Like, they're all holograms and already. They're already characters that people idolize, and so they're easily replaceable. What I mean by that is that you could slip somebody in that looks very similar to Beyonce, and 9 out of 10 people are going to go, hey, look, it's Beyonce. And then there's that one person who's going to be like, wait a second. What the hell? That's not Beyonce. She's got a mole here. She's like slightly shorter and she's got a weird nose, like, like you mentioned with Eminem.
Also, doesn't she look like lighter skin now compared to back in the day?
Yes, that's one of the things they claim. It says fans claim doubles used are for public appearances, citing inconsistency photos and lighter skin. Yeah, specifically like lighter skin. But then it happened with Michael Jackson. Maybe it's a skin disease. Like we always got to think both ways, because like they're in a lot of celebrities do get facial reconstruction surgery and stuff, and like they want to look better, and it makes them look fucking 100 times worse, which is so stupid. It's like I'm going on a little mini rant here, but it's got to do with it because if they are getting facial, Botox and stuff like that, it's like somebody literally convinced them that God who made them in their image, that you need to change yourself, your facial views, making yourself look prettier because this is what society wants. And I'm going, no, society wants authenticness, no matter what it is. It wants your I don't like makeup. I understand here and there when you go to a party, put on some lipstick, maybe some eyeshadow. But I hate when they get caked up, dolled up. I've seen videos of people completely change, like looking like trailer trash straight to looking like a TikTok whore. It's like, what the hell? Like you're tricking everybody. You're like you're not authentic. And so it's not like the media or the music industry's never tricked us before. It's like they trick us all the time. So I just wanted to run over that a little bit, especially about Beyonce and like Jay-Z. Like I think they're just satanic. That's just me. I just think it's all Satanism. And I mean, I wouldn't put past Satanists to use cloning or any kind of that stuff because it's literally going against the nature of God. So it doesn't, it kind of makes sense. It ties in together, Satanism and cloning and changing your appearance in any way. It's all under this demonic antichrist agenda, in my opinion. So that's why I like getting into Hollywood and getting into music. People strive for that because they make it as an appeal that, oh, hey, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to have these girls. I'm going to have a Ferrari. And then you get in there and then you end up being so depressed because you're so far away from God because all these people are shoving stuff down your throat. Sorry I'm ranting about this, but it's like, it really bothers me because they really are holograms that people worship and they idolize when you should be worshiping God. It's like, and that's one thing you see it. Once you go back, there's no seeing it. It's like The Matrix. Do you want to go back and take the red? You can take the blue pill and go back to your regular life, or you take the red pill and I'll take you down the rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole always leads back to Jesus. It really does, because I went down all these conspiracies and it leads back to God because the agenda is completely anti-Christ. And if they're trying to be always making fun of Jesus and making fun of Christ, why would they do that if they didn't themselves believe that he was real? Which means they're actively working against him and they know he's God. And that's terrible. That's really terrible. It's like, why would you go out of your way to make fun of somebody that doesn't exist? Just saying, Also, if people don't remember my show at the beginning of the series of starting the Danger Zone, the first episode I did was Taylor Swift. And I know you wanted to bring up some of this because you don't believe this at all, that she's the daughter of the founder of the Satan.
Well, the reason why I said this is because the footage that I saw, that was like back in like the 80s or 90s. So like her being an adult now, it would, like, the timeline wouldn't have matched up.
It's true, yeah.
She might have like resembled like the facial characteristics, but I don't think it's the same person.
Unless she's just a demon that doesn't age. It's like, that's the only thing. It's like when I did the show, I ended up going, she's not a clone. I just think she's a demon. Like that's how I closed it out. But no, I think you're definitely right. The time doesn't match up. But the only thing that makes sense is she's some kind of witch, more like that doesn't age. Hocus Pocus, where they like de-age because they suck their children blood, or she uses so much adrenochrome. That like people say that like, oh, adrenochrome, it's really not a conspiracy. You can get a adrenochrome. I can't even pronounce it, adrenochrome, and it's like made of like with the blood of kids, or what is it, stem cells? Oh, what was that Steve Harvey product that he was using that was made from like baby foreskin or some shit? Or I don't know if it was baby foreskin, but it was made from like I want to find it, but it's like it's so weird.
I have no idea.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Steve Harvey. Baby foreskin. Yeah. Oh my god. I just typed in baby foreskin. Oh shit. Here we go. Hold on. Let me play it.
So this is.
All I had to do on YouTube is type in Steve Harvey baby foreskin. Okay. So, all right. Let me play this.
So this is one of Oprah's favorites. She says it's a
Oprah's
miracle fountain of youth and her magic wrinkle cure. So I'm going to put a little on your hand.
I'll do that. Oprah did.
Yeah, Oprah did it. All right, so here, we're going to rub it right in.
How come it's red?
I'll show you in a sec, Steve. So this is made from growth hormones of human
Look,
foreskin.
the wrinkles has just disappeared. I can't even ball my hand up.
But so it's made from human foreskin. I'm sorry, Steve.
You'd have sat up here and squirted somebody's private part in my damn hair. What you laughing at?
I'm sorry.
This your last time on the show. This your last time. Coming up in here. You're sitting up in here.
So yeah. Wow. I think it was baby foreskin, but it did say human foreskin. I just don't think she wanted to say it was baby foreskin. But they use this for youth. They bring to make them younger, make them look better. So that's one thing they can do. I'm just throwing out a devil's advocate that there's other things that they do. But either way, they're lying to us. Like you didn't even ask her beforehand. Someone told me that shit and they put it in my hand, dude. I'd sue her ass. I don't want this shit. Bro, I just feel violated. That's not like an assault to me. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you're not gonna tell me ahead of time. I'm not gonna try this shit because that is demonic in my opinion. So it's pretty crazy that stuff like that still. That even happens. And they said it was human foreskin, but it said that it was grown in a lab kind of thing, which means they're using stem cells from babies. That's the only way that stuff's usually grown is they use stem cells. There's also Justin Bieber as well, but I think he just got fucked up from all the shit that happened.
Yeah, I think from everything that I heard about him, I think he just had just a bad life.
That's when I don't believe that he's been replaced. I just think he's gone through some shit and he's not ready to come out. It's kind of like the Drake Bell situation. He's not ready to come out about all this stuff. And I think it's so horrific is that he just doesn't want to talk about it. It took Drake Bell so much to talk about his thing, years and years. So I believe that Justin Bieber will eventually probably come out and say this, but he's got his time, and the Diddy shit. Bro, there's so much shit going on with the Diddy stuff. Like you told me, they're dropping so many charges. It looks like it's all about to be swept under the rug. And no one gives a fuck anymore because all these I'm sorry for cursing, but all these stories that are coming out, there's always a new one. There's always something in the media. The next thing. That they want so much that to happen that people forget about Diddy, and I'm not gonna forget. Just like I haven't forgot about Trevor Moore or Bob Saget or all these other people that have mysteriously died, that weren't accidental. I think they were on purpose and. It doesn't put past anybody for any of the government to cover up deaths or murders, especially with Kurt Cobain as well. I don't think he killed himself. I think that Courtney Love killed him. But that's another one. But I don't think he was ever replaced or anything like that. But I just think Courtney Love killed him because he was going to leave her. There's also ones about Kanye West's former baby mama. What is it, Kim Kardashian? The Kardashians themselves are just fake as fuck already. So I really don't they might as well.
Yeah,
be
they don't. Yeah, they don't need a body double. They already, like you said, they're as fake as it is already.
For real. But Michael Jackson's the only confirmed one I know that had a body double. I think he admitted it or they talked about it. I'm going to branch off into this thing because a lot of people still think that Michael Jackson's a pedophile. He is not. He was proven out of court, in court, that he wasn't, and that it was used to smear him. His own maid said that she was told to lie about seeing Michael in the shower with children because somebody told her to. In court.
Everybody that's brought up, the whole topic about him being that way. I've always liked to ask one question to everybody to whoever has an opinion on it. So I guess just to really see their feelings about it. So let me ask you, if you what would you say if you had kids, right? Mm-hmm. Would you let your kids stay the night at Michael Jackson's house?
I mean, okay, yeah, that's different. Okay, so I wouldn't let my kids stay the night at anybody's house other than not even sleepover sometimes because you can't trust anybody, and it's not that Michael himself would have been I'm going to say it was inappropriate probably for him to sleep with the kids. He says that when he was doing it, it was so there are things, but I don't think he was the person they portrayed him to be.
But wait, when they say sleep at his house, like were they like in the same bed, or like
They were in the same bed.
why
He
not
was
just have
interviewed
like
about it.
why not have like another room for them or something?
Here, since we're bringing it up, I know it's way off topic, but we can bring it up. Michael Jackson. I'll just show you an interview. Jackson bed sleeping interview. There should be a. Here we go. Yeah, it's like a 3-minute video. We'll watch it real quick.
Deserved all the joys of life.
And so it was that we came back to our meeting at Neverland with 12-year-old Gavin. I'd found this easily the most disturbing moment of the past 8 months.
You know, some have, and they say, is that really appropriate?
When you're talking about children, we met Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great privilege to meet Gavin because he's had a lot of suffering in his life.
Yeah.
When Gavin was there, he talked about the fact that he shares your bedroom.
Yes.
Can you understand why people would worry about that?
Because they're ignorant.
But is it really appropriate for a 44-year-old man to share a bedroom with a child who is not related to him at all?
That's a beautiful thing.
That's not a worrying thing?
Why should they be worrying? Who's the criminal? Who's Jack the Ripper in the room? This is a guy trying to heal a child. I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor. I gave him the bed because he has a brother named Star. So him and Star took the bed, and I'm on the floor in the sleeping bag.
Did you ever sleep in the bed with them?
No. But I have slept in the bed with many children. I sleep in the bed with all of them. When Macaulay Culkin were little, Kieran Culkin would sleep on this side. Macaulay Culkin's on this side. His sister's in there. We're all just jamming the bed. And we wake up like dawn and go in the hot air balloon. You know, we have the footage. I have all that footage.
But is that right, Michael?
It's very right. It's very loving. That's what the world needs now. More love, more.
The world needs a man who's 44 sleeping in a bed with children.
No, you're making it all wrong.
Well, tell me, help me.
Because what's wrong with sharing a love? You don't sleep with your kids or some other kid who needs love, who didn't have a good childhood?
No, I don't. I would never dream of sleeping.
I would.
I would never dream.
Because you've never been where I've been mentally.
What do you think people would say if I said, well, I've invited some of my daughter's friends round or my son's friends round and they're going to sleep in the bed with me tonight?
That's fine.
What do you think their parents would say?
If they're wacky, they would say you can't. But if you're close family, like your family, you know them well, but
Michael, I wouldn't like my children to sleep in anybody else's bed.
Well, I wouldn't mind if I knew the person well, and if I'm very close to Barry Gibb, Paris and Prince can stay with him anytime. My children sleep with other people all the time.
And you're happy with that?
Fine with it. They're honest. They're sweet people. They're not Jack the Ripper.
I suppose the problem for many people is what happened in 1993, or what didn't happen.
What didn't happen?
Just cast your mind back. What was that like when you first heard the allegations that were being made against you?
It was shocking, and I'm not allowed to talk about this by way of law. So,
but how did you feel about what was being said? I'm not asking you to talk about what was said.
I was shocked because God knows in my heart how much I adore children.
But isn't that precisely the problem? That when you actually invite children into your bed, you never know what's going to happen.
But when you say bed, you're thinking sexual. They make that sexual. It's not sexual. But we're going to sleep. I tuck them in. I put a little music on, and do a little storytelling. I read a book. It's very sweet. Put the fireplace on. We give them hot milk. You know, we have little cookies. It's very charming. Very sweet.
Sure.
It's what the whole world should do.
Yeah, so there's a lot I don't agree. Like, there's
when he's talking about like Macaulay Culkin like in the bed, like that's way too far in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm not gonna lie. So he had some far out things. I just don't think he was the monster they portrayed him as, because you got to remember the whole entire reason that Michael is dead is basically because they wanted his whole entire music, not just his. He owned the rights to almost every thing that Sony had, like including the Beatles music and everything. So, and they were holding him hostage. So they had a lot of the media and everything had a lot of leverage to go against Michael because they wanted that shit, and they eventually got it by killing him. But I do not, like I said, I like you say, you asked that question. You go, would you let your kid to go over there? Hell no, of course not. I'm not fucking crazy. One, I just don't trust anybody because I'm a conspiracy theorist. Literally, I don't trust anybody like around. And I'm about to have a kid, and that's why. Now, see everybody now, I'm about to get my hair cut finally because my wife's pregnant. So, and she's holding on pretty well, so that's pretty good. But my thing I want to bring up, since we're talking about this, is some people may even say he was replaced even sooner, Michael Jackson. That Michael Jackson isn't even Michael Jackson himself either, because you got to remember, he was like a little black kid. And look at him now. This doesn't look like, I know that he had the skin issue and the skin disease, but this doesn't look like a black man. Or it doesn't really talk much like a black man as well. So a lot of people believe that he was replaced even before then. So there's a replacement of the double. So Michael Jackson here isn't even Michael Jackson that, from the Jackson 5. And you could say that more so as well, even like heart and soul and mental. Because like you said, we haven't been through what he'd been through, his childhood. He didn't really have a childhood. He was in the Jackson 5. He was singing songs at like, I think 8 years old. Maybe he was younger. I don't remember. So we don't know. But I do agree with you that is not appropriate. And he may be going about it a different way. He actually may, whatever he's saying is like, that's how he feels. But when it comes to other people's kids, if he has to respect their wishes, you know what I mean? If they're like, hey, I don't want my kid in there. So I understand, but I do not think that he was the monster that everybody portrayed him to be. Could he have been? Yes. Do I believe he was? No. But that's just my opinion. Trust me, I thought just like everybody else, Michael Jackson's a pedophile. I was saying it for years. All three. I made the jokes and all of that. They do it in all the movies and all that stuff. You're like, come here, just a little Jesus juice. Like, bro, like there's things like that. It's like, bro, it's a little far, but God forgive me. It's like, but there's stuff like that, And so I may actually believe that, that conspiracy that this isn't even Michael Jackson. Could be somebody they replace him with, and then I think it is. It's a little stretch, but I believe that Michael Jackson was. And I don't think he's a clone. I do believe that they used doubles. Of course, they use body doubles on celebrities all the time. And people have I think Sylvester Stallone's who's one of the doubles that looks almost exactly like the person. I think it was like not the double. They're stunt doubles, pretty much what it is.
I've seen like The Rock has a stunt double, and like Jason Statham, and like even Paul Walker, he had identical like stunt double too. Like it was real interesting. I think the closest one I've seen was the one for Jason Statham though.
Wasn't Paul Walker's brother his stunt double?
I don't remember if he was or not.
Because they did use Paul Walker's brother for some of the scenes for the last one that they had to do because
I remember that they used his brother in the movie instead of Paul Walker. Like they kind of changed the face a little bit or something. Or
I'm gonna look at identical. I hope it's not showing stunt doubles. It's crazy as Michael Jackson, one of the first one that pops up. Looks like actors and their stunt doubles who could. Let's watch this. Tom Hardy, Michael Douglas, The Rock, Melissa McBride.
Dang, there's a twin.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff about him. There's some stuff about him that people think he's a pedophile. Was it Aquaman? Yeah, the guy played Aquaman. That's different. That's a different thing.
Jason Momoa?
Yeah, well, there's like some pictures I've seen that like a lot of people found questionable. Like when he's taking pictures with fans, like he'll put his hand behind them, but like he'll never be around them. It'll be like you won't see the rest of his hand, and so like people just assume that he has it on like their ass or something. But that's just speculation. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I'm not trying to get a lawsuit here. This is speculation, conspiracy theories. Yeah. So there's probably a bunch of other videos of doubles. What's this? Oh my goodness, there's one here. There's Christopher. There's a bunch of them, and they have to get. We don't want to talk about Tom Cruise. That dude went through a mental breakdown too. Yeah. So there's stunt doubles, of course. There's body doubles that are going to be used. I think a lot of it's MK Ultra. Just they got fucked up. And like you said, you believe the Eminem one, which is a high possibility. I don't really fuck with Eminem no more, and he don't even look like Eminem no more. And there's speculation. I'm gonna mention it, Dave Chappelle, but I don't believe so. A lot of people were trying to convince me that he was a clone. And wait, I think there is a video that you've seen, Half Baked, right?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
But yeah, you know the white guy that was on there with Dave Chappelle. The guy was like, "Fully, man, like, who's coming with me?" Like, so he did an interview on Roseanne's show. Let me see if I can find it. I'm like the researcher, man. I know how to. Roseanne, Dave Chappelle. Yeah, he's a big. He said he's known Dave his whole life. He goes, "I'm not sure that that's the same person that came back." So let's see if I can. Yeah, here it is. Here it is.
It means
it's pretty long. I'm gonna see if I can cut it short, but if we watch the whole thing, it's okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can cut it short though. Let's see.
And me and Chappelle at that time were very close, and me and him would talk shit for hours, and I thought he was way too far into it, but what he was saying was right on target too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he left for a while, didn't he?
He's deep.
Yeah. At least that's what I was.
Well,
that's true, but
I know shit about.
I know a contract dispute happened.
I'm
he
gonna
was
beat
in.
the shit
I could
out.
like in Africa.
If I ever run into him, I will give him a very slight, quick slap right upside the head.
What's that?
It won't hurt.
What's that?
But it just needs a little reconfiguring there.
My mother's a very proud Jewish woman.
Yeah.
He
said some things that he don't understand why he's saying, but he just needs some reconfiguration. You know, where their eyeballs go like this. Then they're reconfigured. I do that a lot to help people, especially black people nowadays, because they're really lying to them. They're really lying to them, and it really upsets me.
You didn't like that he said the Jews.
I don't like that he said the Jews. That
one
pissed
group.
me off about Chappelle.
Yeah.
You should.
I didn't hear
you
it.
can't
So
say
tell me.
the, because I can't say, you know, the blacks.
That's
you don't,
true.
You just don't go the Italians. I'll tell you what, you say
And lump them all together.
Yeah, there's more than one kind.
Correct.
You don't go the Jews. Now it's just bigotry.
Yeah.
You got to go. There's bad and good and everything.
There is bad and good in everything. In
you
everything
can't just
and
say
everything.
all of them are one way.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
For
Correct.
fuck's sake, I'll slap him.
I think that's.
Well, I haven't spoke to him.
Just like this.
Yeah, well,
you guys.
You could do a little harder.
I probably.
I
could.
think you got a little harder there, but I think.
What happened between you two? Did you fall out, or did you just go different ways?
No. We I think different ways, but I'll put something out there that I don't know if he. When we were filming a movie, and he also had a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
From HBO and or not HBO, Comedy Central and all this shit, right?
The worst bunch of people on earth.
Horrid.
Mm-hmm.
He then, while he was on the show, when it was blowing up, and we remember the Aspen Comedy Festival? I don't know.
Yeah, that was fun. I did that too.
He came there, and he was freaked out.
Yeah.
I said, "What's going on?" And all I could say is he was visited.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
And when he told me who visited him, my heart stops for a second. I'm like, get the fuck. And I'll never forget, he went, "You believe me, right? You believe me, Jim, right?" And I could, he's like, "They came to me." And he said the names. I'm like, get the fuck. And what happened? And then all of a sudden he went to Africa.
Yeah, that's what I remember happening. But they never really said what happened. Was he threatened? I mean, I don't know how much you want.
I don't have.
You can't.
That's none of my business.
Okay.
But I know for a fact.
He was corrected.
He said, correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was, hey, by whoever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we need to have a conversation. Would you like some of your own coffee in your house? What? Yeah, like that heavy shit. And that's the first time. You know, I would. And so when I saw him come back, there was a lot less communication. And maybe he just, maybe he just grows, whatever. But I can honestly say, and maybe I'm crazy and I am crazy for saying this. When I saw him completely come back, I really questioned if that was him.
Yeah, I know, right? I think that's...
And I know that's really crazy.
I think those same things, yeah.
I know that's crazy.
Well, it's no crazier than that. Oh, the trains are going off the rails.
I tell you what, these fucking boats are running into bridges. Son of a bitch, the goddamn fucking electricity went out, and let me get you know what? The black box don't work. Son of a bitch, it's been working for years and years, and all of a sudden this fucker went out of business. So we don't know what happened. All we know is this fucking ship. Yeah. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, aliens in the mall. Can we go to aliens? Okay, let's go to aliens in Miami walking around the mall. Come on, Roger. Can we get another bombing somewhere?
Yeah, no
terrorist
shit.
threat over here.
No shit.
It sounds like me.
But do you think that they clone? I mean, I won't be surprised if they clone.
I
if
hear
they
the
clone
cloning.
people.
Or a chip. It could be him, but
yeah,
controlled.
they could have chipped some. I mean, maybe they take somebody away because you see that boot on them. You see him with that boot.
Dave had the boot?
No, I never seen Dave.
Yes,
with
I've
the
seen
boot.
the boots.
The boot. They
How
got
did
the
so
boot
many
on
people-
one. I don't know. But then they come back and they're like better. They're nicer or more easygoing. Which reminds me, when I was in the nut house, this is way too long of a story. I got to think.
I love this. I know you
No,
were in
any
the nut
story
house.
that starts with when I was
I
in
was
that
in
house is
so
gonna
many
be
nut
good.
house, but my premier nut house experience.
Okay.
I was 16, and yeah.
16?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
See, I got hit by.
So that's all I wanted to show is that, one of his coworkers on Half Baked actually believes that he was not the same person anymore, and that he may have been. That's just one man's opinion. Like I said, he goes, maybe crazy. I know you don't technically believe that, but I think he was definitely corrected. He when at Comedy Central, he was approached and says, "Hey, you're going to do what we want to do now. You're going to put on a dress. You're going to do everything we want." And he just didn't want to do it. He threw, I think it was like $5 million. Or no, that was actually a lot of money. I think it was
$50 million.
$50 million and went to Africa.
He turned away. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he came back, and then like he said, communication was different. Maybe he just didn't want to talk to him anymore. And then he says he believes. I don't think it was him. And this is one of his, I wouldn't say closest friends, but he did spend a lot of time with them on a movie set. So you do spend a lot of time. I've been on sets before. You almost come like a little mini family for that time period. So he was close to Chappelle. So if he's saying that, like I sat there and like then after this interview, I watched this. I was really interested in that theory. But I don't technically believe it either. But it's possible he could be a clone. We don't know, man. If you're corrected and they're now allowing him back in the public eye, I mean, like they wouldn't do that unless he had a guy now and he has he gave in to them, the people that wanted him corrected. Maybe it's that, but there's a high possibility that ain't Chappelle. But there's also a possibility it is, and he's just a chill old dude now. But yeah, Roseanne, she's been beefing with a lot of people right now because she's Jewish, and she gets mad when anybody says it's the Jews. Which is, I guess she's right to broadly say it's one group of people. I mean, yeah, even though they own the banks, they own Hollywood, they own the media. It can't be all of them. Yeah. It's definitely not all of them. It's just the elites that happen to be Jewish. Yeah, but that's another thing. Thanks for everybody for tuning in right now. We're at 43-minute mark. We've got 15 minutes left. Sorry, less. I do want to shill for my business, my store, my eBay store. This is my first 2 months on eBay. It's going very, 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 very well. I'm going to give an exclusive sneak preview on some of the items that will be in the store. So we're going to take a minute and do that. If you don't know what my store is, it's Hidden Treasured Hub with a D. The link will be in the description on Rumble. And I think if you go on my X page, you can find it at the highlighted section. But I'll show you a little preview and then of what the items that are coming out this week. You get exclusive sneak preview, everybody, by the way, exclusive. No one else is knowing this, not anybody in the store. I'm going to put it up here real quick. Let's see if I can get it up. do background. Bada bing, bada boom. It might be small, but it's basically a knee brace. It's going to be coming, a knee brace. If you got like a torn ACL, if you're just hurt and you got some knee pain, it's going to be good for you. It's going to drop in the store probably Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I forget what it's called, but it's definitely, if you got asthma, it's a relief for asthma. It's like an inhaler in itself. So if say you forget your inhaler, and you can't get your prescription in time, you can use this as a relief for your asthma. And then also, if you got an injured foot, you're walking with a boot. There's some. It's basically for your shoes. You put it on your shoe, and it helps you lift. It helps you walk around with your boot on, and also a replacement parts for a printer. I forget the actual what printer it's for. The bag is not for sale. That bag is just what my wife wanted. She bought it. She got it for a cheap price. So the bag is not for sale. And then in the next week or so, I will be putting out their replacements for a barbecue. I think they're plated parts for. It's supposed to be like a heat plate. I don't even know, guys. But it's like heat plates for a particular model. I think it's a Coyote grill. Anybody that's got Coyote grill and you need some heat pad replacement things, I got you. They'll be at the store soon. And also, let's bring us back on here because I don't have the auctions ready, but they'll be dropping tomorrow, and they will be vintage NFL ornaments. 2 vintage NFL ornaments. If you're from Arizona, there's an Arizona Cardinals one, and there's a Falcons one. They'll all be sold together, so you kind of have to take it all. And a bunch of football cards, including Bo Jackson, 3 Bo Jackson cards, and the rest are going to be all from the mid-2010s. I don't remember the specific players, but they'll be dropping tomorrow afternoon in the store. So make sure to go check it out. Put a bid on it. I think the auction is going to start at $9 or so. Remember, you have to pay for shipping, so put that into account into the actual total of what you would be bidding on. I think it's a decent price for everything you're getting. You're getting a couple of vintage ornaments, whether you're a fan or not, or just a novelty collector of items, or if you want to resell them yourselves. I think you can get a decent price for just the ornaments on yourself. And also, I'm going to be doing video game lots, 3 video games, I think a group of movies as well, and then also a collection of basically phone cases. They call them mixed lots. So yeah, check that out. We got a few minutes left here. Is there any closing remarks you'd like to make about the body doubles or clones or anything in general with to do with celebrities?
So I know we've went over the body doubles and clones and stuff like that, but I want your opinion. Do you think that there's any celebrities that have passed away that you think that they're still alive?
Oh boy. The most number ones I always hear is Tupac. I don't believe that. I think Tupac died. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that's passed away that I think's like. Okay, so not a celebrity, I guess, but lately, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've been almost on the brink of believing that Jeffrey Epstein is actually alive, and that they faked the murder, and that he's still facilitating the trafficking of children in Hollywood. I haven't gotten too much into it, but if I were to say, I don't know about a celebrity. So if you had to choose a celebrity, not Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac's dead. I can't really think of one. I'm going to be honest. I can't really think of a celebrity.
Paul Walker.
What's the motive to fake your death with Paul Walker, you think?
I don't know, but I guess the only evidence I've ever really seen of him possibly being alive was I think I sent you that picture, right, about his last race that he had, where it has so it had the picture. It took the picture of him in that Carrera GT, and it had a license plate on the back shown, and then the license plates that they recovered from the crash site was a completely different license plate. It didn't match up to the one that he was driving. So that
there's the conspiracy is that they tried that they killed Paul Walker. If he is dead, they killed Paul Walker because of the information, because he worked on the Haiti Foundation. There was a Haiti Foundation with the Clintons where they're going to recover the stuff in Haiti, but there's heavily some evidence that it's possibly that they were trafficking children out of Haiti to be, given to politicians, given to celebrities, and that so the conspiracy is that Paul Walker found out about this and was going to expose it, and he was murdered. So there is a possibility that he wanted to fake this, or they wanted to fake it, so it looked like he died and that he maybe escaped and didn't, away from the limelight and away from the government. People have faked their deaths before and gotten away with it. Surprising enough, there are cases of that. I don't know them on top of my head because I have seen that there are cases that where people have faked their death and got away with it for a little bit, and they found out, hey, this dude's alive. And a lot of people, when they find that out, they're like, where's my taxes? Because you've been tax evading for most of your life. So yeah,
that one, and then also another popular one that's I've heard over the years was Elvis, that he's alive somewhere.
Oh, yeah, he was. Well, by this time he probably would be dead. But I know that people were like, oh, he's alive. He's alive. This statement. That, I mean, that's a very high possibility. I mean, he's a famous guy. He's and the most popular. I mean, one of the most popular people in music. So, I mean, I see that you would want to get out of the limelight and not be famous anymore. So you just fake your death and then go off into the sunset and just hide.
And then last but not least, your personal favorite. I've always heard that Adolf Hitler wasn't exactly dead.
Okay, you're right. Finally, actually, I think that's the one I need to talk about. I didn't think about that yet.
They never recovered his body, and the skull that they found that they had at the museum, that it wasn't actually his.
I think this is my theory. There's people within the movement that are going to disagree with me. There's a guy named Zach. He believes that Hitler did kill himself and that there's historical evidence, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. I don't even think that he killed himself. I think that's a Jewish narrative, or not Jewish. Okay, sorry. The elite narrative, whatever you want to call them, the globalist narrative that they made it up so they make him look even worse and all that stuff. And like you said, I actually think, and I want to believe, that he did escape to Argentina and had they say he had children and he had like daughters. There's a bunch of theories. So I think that's the one I may actually believe. But I always say this because because I want it to probably be true, or that he actually did escape. But there's most people that, But yeah, it's actually, if I wanted to believe, it's going to be that one. I believe that Hitler escaped. And I think someone said there was like CIA paperwork. I haven't seen the CIA paperwork that this was actually true, but that is a fact that the skull that was recovered, that was a 14-year-old like female skull. It wasn't even Adolf Hitler's skull. Yeah. And there's a bunch of inconsistencies just with just like the history they taught us. There's a lot of inconsistencies in that as well.
But of course, for how long ago that was, he's more than likely not alive anymore.
Of course, yeah, he's not. Of course, he's dead now. And but yeah, that's probably one I do believe. So you got me there. I finally got it. That's the one I do believe. I wouldn't say celebrity, I guess. I mean, yes, you can. He's a figure. Like would you say JFK is a celebrity? Would you say that Trump's a celebrity? Of course, because Trump was a celebrity before he was president. And that's why I was like, people. I'm gonna branch off here. I got a couple minutes. It's like people think that, Trump's the guy. He's the one. He's real. He's authentic. Dude was a fucking reality TV star. Had a show called The Apprentice. Fucking showed up on Home Alone 2. Technically was an actor a little bit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? He's no different.
And he was in WWE.
Yeah, he was in WWE. He's no different than any other politician. Like Ronald Reagan was a fucking actor, and he ended up being president. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, just like when they talk about it in the Back to the Future, and he's like, who's president in 1985? And he's like, Ronald Reagan, the actor?
The actor? Yeah, it's like, bro, like to say that, it's like, it's crazy. It's like anybody can be the fucking president as long as you're an actor or you're propped up by the CIA. There's no authentic person in fucking Congress except for Thomas Massey, and they killed his wife. So thanks for tuning in. Even for the person that's tuning in now, please rewatch, hit like, hit follow. If you like the shit, sorry for cursing. If you like the stuff, hit a follow, hit like, go to my store and buy. That's how you can represent me. And if the donations, if you want, but I want to give you something. So go to the store, get a good price on things, and shoot me an offer. Like a lot of people don't know what I will accept for some of these offers. Like next to nothing, because a lot of this stuff's profit for me at this point. So I hope everybody's having a good day, good night, good evening. What does he say? I always butcher it every time. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. If I don't see you, enjoy the rewatch on the show, the episode. Next week we're gonna be taking a hiatus because it's it's Easter. Well, it's Easter Sunday as well, but it's also WrestleMania, everybody. So I gotta watch WrestleMania. I haven't watched it in a very long time. We're gonna get together and watch it. We're gonna chill. We're gonna relax. So everybody enjoy the next week off. for Easter. Spend time with your family if you can, but also, remember why we're celebrating. A lot of people they say we're not supposed to be celebrating, but remember why we're celebrating. At the same time. That's it for us. It's been 54 minutes. We're finishing early. I hope you enjoyed it. We went over a lot of stuff. We talked over. There's some things we didn't talk about, but we pretty much hit the nail on the head on most of these things, and really we just deep dived into it. And the ending thing is that it's up to it's like the M. Night Shyamalan ending or something like that. It's up to the person to did you like the ending? Did you like what the results? You did, maybe you didn't. At the end of the day, we're conspiracy theorists, so it's more of the theories, honestly, that you keep people going. They go, oh, that's I just love that theory, man. It's a good idea. We're having fun in this episode because everyone says you shouldn't focus on these things and it's like a waste of time, but it's really good to get away from the other stuff. I've been staying off Twitter for a little bit because I just can't stand it anymore. Everyone complaining, everyone bickering, everyone just acting literally like Antichrist. Whether they're even Catholics or whether they're Christians, a lot of the stuff on there is just so demonic. And at the end of the day, we're forgetting that social media is the structure. It was put together by demonic entities. Who wasn't put together by all that stuff and who rules and controls the world is the king of the world? Jesus Christ. God. So, take a moment to remember that is, maybe stay off social media for a little bit. I'm saying this as you're watching my live stream on probably social media. So, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite, but all right, everybody have a good day, good night, good evening. Enjoy the rewatch, enjoy your lives. See you next week. No, not next week. 2 weeks from now for another hour of the Danger Zone, because we tiptoe in the dangerous areas, and it's dangerous to point out decoys or body doubles because they may just end your life. No, we're just little. It's not us. They go after the big dogs first, like the politicians. All right, everybody, that's it for us. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace.